Good evening, I'm Fana Sheikh and this is AWANI Tonight. Sabah Chief Minister Dato Sri Hajiji has unveiled a new state cabinet with Sabah UMNO Chief and State Barisan Nasional BN Chairman Dato Sri Bung dropped from the lineup. Tanjung Keramat Assembly Person Dato Shah Helmi Yahya replaces Bung as the new Deputy Chief Minister and Works Minister.
Shah Helmi was among the 5 assemblymen from BN who previously broke ranks and pledged support for Hajiji after Bung announced that the coalition withdrew support for the chief minister. The other 2 deputy chief ministers, Parti Solidarity Tanah Airku stars Dato Sri Dr. Jeffrey Kitingan and Parti Bersatu Sabah's PBS Dato Sri Dr. Joachim Gunsalam, were maintained in this new lineup. Meanwhile, Sugut Assembly Person Dato James Ratib was named the Community Development and People's Wellbeing Minister, replacing Shah Helmi. The new lineup also saw the appointment of 2 Sabah Pakatan Harapan lawmakers, Sabah Pakatan Harapan Chairman and Api-Api Assembly Person Christina Liu, as well as Luyang Assembly Person Fung Jinzi. Liu took over the Tourism, Culture and Environment portfolio, while Fung was appointed Industrial Development Minister. The swearing-in of the new cabinet ministers took place in Istana Seri Kinabalu this morning. Aside from the new appointments, Dr. Joachim took over the local government and housing portfolio from Dato Sri Masidi Manjun. Masidi is now Sabah's sole finance minister, a portfolio previously held by Hajiji and him. Bung responded to the cabinet reshuffle by saying that the new lineup was not the unity government which UMNO wanted, and that the UMNO assembly person who were included in Hajiji's cabinet did not represent the party and were not recognized by Sabah UMNO.
UMNO has yet to decide on the fate of 5 Sabah Barisan National Assemblymen who broke ranks with the state party leadership to support Chief Minister Dato Sri Hajiji Noor. UMNO Secretary General Dato Sri Ahmad Maslan said no decision was made on the issue yet and that the party will be focusing on the annual General Assembly instead.
Sebab kerajaan Sabah ni begitu unik sekali dan kita harap segalanya akan stabil kembali. Saya harap begitu dan saya harap segala persoalan-persoalan akan dijawab dengan baik kemudiannya. Bab yang itu kita beri ke komen kemudian. Nak tumpu Perhimpunan Agung UMNO hari ini, hari esok, hari lusa, hari Sabtu.
Ahmad also made clear that no foreign dignitaries or leaders of non-BN parties will be attending the AGM, as the event will focus on party and coalition matters. He said only Barisan component parties will be invited, such as MCA, MIC, and Parti Bersatu Rakyat Sabah, PBRS.
Can Sabah Chief Minister Dato Sri Hajiji Noor and his new cabinet lineup put an end to the political dissent in the state? Political analyst Dr. Azmi Hassan discusses the stability of the current Sabah cabinet and what's to come.
Well, the new lineup of Hajiji cabinet is something that are very expected, meaning that those who supported him will be rewarded. On the question whether it will be stable or not, I don't think so. It will be a very stable government because Hajiji has only 4 majority. And these 4 most probably comprise of Barisan Nasional legislator, which means that Barisan Nasional is also in the opposition and also is in the government. So I would say that is very peculiar and very unique form of cabinet and government, state government of Hajiji. But in terms of stability, I think it won't be very stable because on the other side, which is Shafi Abdal and also Bung Mokhtar, they will try over and over again to recapture the state government.
Azmi views that Hajiji faced challenges ahead in governing the state, adding that a unity government similar to that at the federal level would be the best way forward for Sabah.
It will end, and I think the Sabah political fiasco when the unity government is formed. I think there's no other way for Hajiji to govern Sabah at this particular juncture because he has to deal with Warisan and also Bung Mokhtar. So in order for the betterment of Sabah, for the good people of Sabah, the state of Sabah, I think the unity government should be formed, meaning that he need to take in Warisan and also Bung Mokhtar. How difficult it is, I think Hajiji has to do it.
There has not been any discussion on re-implementing the Goods and Services Tax (GST) since the new government was established. Deputy Finance Minister Dato' Sri Ahmad Maslan said the government is currently examining ways to increase government income without having to implement any new taxes.
Semua negara dalam dunia kata GST bagus kecuali Malaysia. Itu satu statement yang ganas. Tapi sekali lagi lah, beginilah ya, kita belum bincang tentang GST ini. Dan saya tidak memberikan komen lebih pada itu. Tidak ada sebarang mesyuarat mengenainya, tidak ada perbincangan mengenainya sejak Kerajaan Perpaduan mengambil alih.
Previously, Ahmad Maslan has said that the government is studying the best ways to reduce the budget deficit, estimated at 5.8% of GDP for 2022. A 6% GST was first introduced on April 1st, 2015 by the Barisan Nasional government. It was suspended on June 1st, 2018 and finally abolished and replaced with the SST on September 1st, 2018 by the then Pakatan Harapan government. The current rate for sales tax is 5% to 10%, while service tax is at 6%.
What happens after those detained under Pota Poka Sosma are released? Project Integrate believes comprehensive reintegration can avoid a return to radical ideology. On Consider This, we asked the guest about second chances for former security detainees. We will go for a quick break. Stay with us.
Hajiji postpaid teman setia kita.
Bila jam 5
Hidup kami berbeza dengan penjimatan jom gembira.
FBIG, YouTube, TikTok, stream tiap masa.
Sosial puas-pas bermacam cerita.
Dengan Digi
Postpaid, kita buat semuanya.
Memang baik kan?
Kan? Jom. जो धब्बा तुम्हारी वजह से इस खानदान पे लगा है वो अकेला और जफर की शादी से ही तुल सकता है।
मैं उसे शादी नहीं करूंगी जिससे मुझे मोहब्बत ना हो।
Hai, cik adik yang manis, nama saya Radin.
Ikatan cinta yang dirahsiakan.
Pernikahan kita ni hanyalah semata-mata atas kertas sahaja. Kita akan bertemu di Pakistan nanti ya.
Mari datang. Namun takdir membawa tragedi.
Abang, ni Akira. Akira isteri abang?
Mampukah cinta menghadapinya? Akira Han di Astro Ria dan Astro Go.
Much is expected from this year's ASEAN Chair Indonesia, especially in resolving the crisis in Myanmar. Can it bring Myanmar back to the negotiating table and resolve the crisis? Dr. Zokri Idris, CEO of Policy and Economic Affairs Centre of Malaysia, or PEACE, discusses Indonesia's role and capacity to do so.
But if we look back into some of the track records in which Indonesia, through G20 summit, able to negotiate two countries who are at war to come together, even though that is virtually. But I think the success of President Jokowi to invite Zelensky from Ukraine as well as Putin from Russia, despite they had many challenges and many attacks on that, I think it's one of the track records that Indonesia can replicate to bring back Myanmar onto the table of discussion with the rest of ASEAN's leaders.
It has been more than 20 months since the Myanmar military signed the 5-point consensus plan. It has, however, continued to defy its promise to end violence in the country. What are ASEAN's other options?
And we also have to recognize Thailand has also been developing a quiet diplomacy with Myanmar, and Indonesia has to take into consideration into that as well, to also consult Thailand and to work together with Thailand, as Thailand has already begun communicating with Myanmar. perhaps I wouldn't say a mistake, but I think one of the missed point that we had during Cambodian leadership in ASEAN was to actually not to consult other regional stakeholders and to work on this issue in silo. And this is something that should not be replicated, because in ASEAN there are some countries or even some communities and sectors began to actually negotiate with Myanmar, and we just need to give the regional implications to it and not to actually cite them out.
Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh has made history by becoming the first Malaysian to win a Golden Globe Award. She won Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy for her role in the critically acclaimed film Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I remember when I first came to Hollywood, it was a dream come true until I got here, because look at this face. I came here and was told you're a minority, and I'm like, no, that's not possible. And then someone said to me, you speak English. I mean, forget about them not knowing Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Asia, India. And then I said, yeah, the flight here was about 13 hours long, so I learned.
Yeoh recently became the first Asian to win the Best Actress award at the National Board of Review Awards. She was also crowned Time Magazine's Icon of the Year in December and is considered a front-runner nominee for the Oscars, set to take place in March.
Meanwhile, Thailand plans to start collecting a 300 baht fee from foreign tourists arriving in the country beginning in June. The government said the money raised would support visitors involved in accidents and develop tourist destinations. Foreigners with work permits and border passes, however, will be exempted from paying. The proposal was first considered last year and is subject to cabinet approval. Tourism is a crucial sector in Thailand, contributing about 12% of GDP before the pandemic. Thailand expects 25 million tourist arrivals in 2023, down from nearly 40 million arrivals in 2019 before the pandemic. Tourism spending is forecast to reach at least 2.38 trillion baht this year. Saudi Arabia has reduced the Hajj pilgrims' insurance premium from 127 ringgit to 34 ringgit, a decrease of 73%. The news was announced by the kingdom's Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Taufik Fauzan Al Rabiah, during the Hajj Expo 2023.
The comprehensive insurance premiums for Umrah performers was also reduced from 274 ringgit to 103 ringgit. Al Rabiah also announced that Umrah visa will be extended from 30 days to 90 days. At the same time, Hajj missions can set up a contract with any licensed company in Saudi Arabia instead of a few selected companies like previously. Hajj will continue this year with full capacity, with no COVID restrictions, checks or upper age limits. An estimated 900,000 pilgrims performed Hajj in 2022, a huge decrease from the 2.5 million before the pandemic.
Peru's top prosecutor has launched an investigation into President Dina Boluarte and key ministers over weeks of clashes that left dozens dead. This is the latest challenge faced by the new government, who just won a vote of confidence in Congress by a wide margin.
The Attorney General's office announced its decision to investigate Boluarte, Prime Minister Alberto Otarola, and Defense and Interior Ministers. This is on charges of genocide, qualified homicide, and serious injuries. Violence erupted last December after ex-President Pedro Castillo was arrested for trying to dissolve the Congress. On Monday, at least 17 people died and dozens injured in clashes between Castillo supporters and security forces in parts of the country. Meanwhile, Otarola's government on Tuesday comfortably won a vote of confidence in Congress, with 73 votes in favor, 43 against, and 6 abstentions. A loss would have triggered a cabinet reshuffle and the resignation of the Prime Minister.
That is all we have for you on Awani Tonight. I'm Fana Sheh. Thank you for watching.